your fiery nature, your passionate side, the part of you that is absolutely the opposite of demure. This person loves that part of you. You are not too much for them. They don't want you to tone it down. In fact, this is somebody that is hoping you pour gasoline upon that fire. You increase that blaze. You let your passions be known because they have never met somebody quite like you that has such an intensity, but also the ability to wrangle that in and alchemize that intensity into some kind of sacred passion, sacred rage. Your intensity is something that they can see has kind of like driven you in the direction of a very purposeful life. So you may be a creative person. You allow that passion and intensity to flow through your creations. This is something that if they have seen any of that, they've seen your artwork, they've seen what you do, or even just the passion and intensity with which you live your life on a daily basis, your life as a work of art, like the best work of art you will ever work on, this is something that really turns this person on because they sense that moving forward with somebody like you brings them into a whole new world of experience, not just in terms of like carnal pleasures and like, a very like sexually satisfying relationship between two people, but something where it's almost kind of like their appreciation of life, the things that they would be focusing on, the way in which their day would be structured, or even just the years of their life to come. It feels like it would be something that would be so much more enjoyable, like pleasures and wonders that they didn't even know existed before until you came into their life with this energy of passion and have showed them a new way of living, a new way of perceiving the world, a new way of approaching challenges and obstacles, and kind of like alchemizing those energies into purpose and into meaning. So again, this person does not want you to tone it down or hide any part of yourself that you would equate with like your spicy side, your intensity, things that past people in your life, platonic or romantic, might have even sort of shamed you for, told you were too much, you were too intense, you were too disagreeable, you were too bossy, you were too self-assured. This person is the absolute opposite of that. They are eating this up. They love this. They're hoping that there is kind of like more to this because again, this is something that they're almost feeling that you bring the breath of life into their life through just this kind of aspect of your nature, your fiery nature, that's almost kind of like something that is the missing ingredient that they never knew that they were sort of like desiring, needing, or wanting all along. Yeah, we've got discernment. So this person, it feels like at this point in time, is kind of watching how you move, the things that you're talking about, ways in which you are kind of like giving energy to them, giving energy to other things in your life, and they're trying to find a way to kind of like enter the dance with you. This is somebody that likes the momentum that you have going. This is somebody that's like, I want to find a place of inclusiveness for myself within that. I don't expect you to kind of like make accommodations, but I see this as an opportunity to kind of rise into a different version of myself, to pull out all the stops, to take off the masks, to allow my own sort of inner fire to be stoked in some sort of way, so that our next point of connection with one another signals a period of time where we are both lifted up through the experience with each other. And so this is something where, if you are kind of in the midst of like self-expression at this particular point in time, or if maybe there's been some kind of like huge degree of disclosure between the two of you recently and they've been needing to kind of just sit and process all of that, they're watching for indicators from you, kind of like, okay, where to next? What's next in this situation? It's kind of like they're waiting for you to pleasantly surprise them once more. And it feels like the next time that you kind of like open up, you're vulnerable, or you say something very off the wall, something very off the cuff, something that might be kind of like a revealing of a quirkiness about you, or again, this kind of like passionate or fiery side, you're going to be very like pleasantly surprised at the ways in which this person, kind of matches that. They reveal a side of themselves to you that they usually keep hidden. They don't usually open up about that so quickly to people, or maybe it's something that, you just kind of like make them feel comfortable. You invite their inner child out to play in a manner that it's kind of like, I think I'm also safe to be seen in the intensity of all that I am, or more than usually people are kind of inviting me to show of myself, or that I feel comfortable showing of myself, because in your presence, it's almost like the light that you emit through this self-honoring, through this authenticity, through this like intense, passionate side of yourself. It's very clear to this person, like there's nowhere to hide in that presence. And so this is somebody that wants to kind of like meet you on that level. Magic. So they definitely feel that you've like cast a spell of love upon them, not through anything that you've done, but just through who you are. You're very endearing. You're the type of person that changes the energy of rooms that you enter. You are somebody that brings out the best in people without even trying. You, without realizing it, have connected with this person on days when they were feeling like not their greatest. Maybe they were stressed and worried about things. They had a bad day at work. They had a lot on their mind, and just a few minutes in your presence help to kind of like bring something out of them that's like, you know what? The problems are the problems. I'll deal with them when I deal with them. Let me focus on something else. Let me look on the brighter side. Let me enjoy this moment. Let me match the energy of this person, of you, the viewer, that I am connecting with right now, to help turn my sights and vision towards things that are going well, towards a lighter, more fun experience. And this is something that this person feels like you're good for their emotional well-being, you're good for their health. You are somebody that helps to like show them the way to a source of vitality inside of themselves, that it feels like helps this person to not have to just sort of like recharge or lift themselves up, when they're kind of in a low mood, or not feeling their best. But you're somebody that really, you have this like magic touch to just sort of like almost instantaneously kind of help a lot of that stress and worry to just dissipate. If you have had like intimate experiences with one another, this person is almost like they feel like there's a magical component to that. There's something that they walk away from those experiences, and it's not just kind of like that was satisfying and pleasing, but it's something where it's almost like energetically speaking, it has unlocked certain doors of potential for them, kind of like ways in which they're able to access their own kind of like sexual energy, but as like a creative energy. So this is something where you are showing this person the way forward, to deeper ways to kind of like relate to themselves, relate to their own energy, relate to the world around them. And all of this is something that they feel is kind of like almost like an added bonus, something that was very like unexpected. Like when they first met you, they always sensed that there was something different, something otherworldly, something extraordinary, something magical about you. But rather than that just being kind of like a mask, or some kind of like an artificial persona, the more that they've gotten to know you, the more that they've had experiences with you directly, even just in the times where they've like observed from afar, this is somebody that definitely feels like you help to peel back the layers of ordinary reality for them and for all the people that you encounter and that you deal with. You are the magic. You bring that energy out of people and into circumstances that you involve yourself with. And so this is somebody that feels like this is like a rare opportunity. This is something special. This is something worth exploring. We also have friendship. So for some of you, this is somebody that is just kind of like playing the friend card at this point in time. They've settled into the friend zone, or there's something where, they approached and were almost kind of like feeling, okay, maybe at a certain point in time, you're going to get tired of me. You're going to kind of cast me out into the friend zone. And so it's almost like they didn't have very high of expectations or hopes that you would, find them as wonderful as they have found you, like right from the start. This is something though where there are deeper feelings that are developing. This is definitely somebody that wants more than friendship with you. So if they haven't yet expressed that, it's like, get ready for that. They want to take that leap of faith forward, because you make them feel safe to do so. You bring, again, like a sense of their inner child feels very safe to express itself, very safe to be heard, very safe to be seen. So rather than something where this is an individual like overthinking and like, I got to get everything right, I got to just say it, it's like, let me just let it happen very naturally. Like it feels very natural to express themselves in your presence. And so that idea of kind of transcending that threshold of friendship with you, or if this is something where, you know, there have been feelings expressed, or you are in like a sexual connection with one another, this is somebody that also is like, I like you as a person. I feel that we have like a friendship between the two of us. I want to go into those deeper emotional territories with one another, because I don't just want this to be kind of like a one-dimensional connection. I don't want this to just be something where we're only connecting on one level. You make me feel very like free inside. You light me up. You are somebody that is a very positive presence in my life and in the world around me and in the world around you, in many different kinds of ways. And so this is somebody that kind of like they want to sort of have your inner children kind of make friends with one another. This is something where they feel that you will be very responsive to like a creative approach of expression as well. Something that goes far beyond just like somebody saying like, hey, I like you. Hey, I like you as more than a friend. Like that might be the essence of the message that they want to present or to give to you, but it feels like they're thinking of some sort of way to, again, kind of like harness that creative potential within, that side of themselves that matches something that you very like naturally embody, or just part of like a part of your dominant personality, how you're presenting in the world, how you've shown up in their life as this like creative streak, this kind of like unexpected spark within an ordinary life that has changed everything for them. This is somebody that's like, okay, let's move in that direction, because I like the idea of what that future can look like for the two of us. We have balance. So this person definitely feels like you bring all of the qualities to the table in a person, in a romantic partner, not just that they have been like wanting or trying to like consciously call in, but it's almost like you embody qualities that they need, that they didn't know that they needed. So this is something where you satisfy a lot of that wish fulfillment, a lot of that desire, but then there are also things about you that are so unexpected that it feels like just warm this person up from the inside. This is somebody that is definitely like thinking about the future, thinking about what that can look like long term with you, to develop into something more, to continue to, you know, kind of unmask, peel off the layers of, you know, politeness or convention, or, you know, just kind of the ways in which time will gradually soften the two of you into a place of like acclimating with one another, getting comfortable with one another. They can envision that there will be a type of closeness between the two of you, an understanding, something that, you know, doesn't even require words, almost like an empathic bond between the two of you, like an energetic synchronicity between the two of you that's possible here in this situation, because already they feel so understood, they feel so balanced with you. Even the parts of them that are sort of like, I don't know what comes next in this situation. I've never met somebody with your intensity, with your authenticity, with your light and with your presence. So it's taking me time to kind of like figure out how to move in accordance with that, how to accompany you along that vibration, how to kind of like raise myself up into a place where we're doing this dance with one another, not taking away from one another's lives, but really complementing kind of the wholeness that we've created within ourselves. This is somebody that envisions like this will be something that will be good for them in the long-term sense, and hopefully good for you in the long-term sense as well. We have past lives. So there's a sense of like, the more that this person gets to know you, the more that there's sort of the sense of like, I feel that you are this kind of like long-term wish fulfillment, maybe a wish that I made even in a past life, that I have traveled through my life or traveled through time to come to this particular moment, this particular space, this particular point of experience where I'm able to see you for all that you are, appreciate you for all that you are. You hold this elixir inside of you that cures some part of me that I didn't even know was aching. They feel that it's no accident that you cross paths with one another. This is somebody that feels like if they met you at an earlier point in their life, they wouldn't have been able to appreciate you as deeply as they do now. This is also somebody that is starting to kind of look with gratitude at their own life experiences, because there might have been a time in their past, like when they were younger, where they had their priorities, they were like different, or they were very like selfish with their love, or they equated love and romance and partnership with different sorts of things. They've lived and they've learned, and they've kind of adjusted their approach in some sort of way. They tried certain things with different people and it didn't work. And so this version of them in the here and now, it's kind of like the recipe's right within them. Something has been tempered within them to the proper extent that you bringing this profound light, this like opportunity for very profound and magical love into their life, it allows them to kind of pivot beyond that place of, just kind of giving very recklessly or holding back out of a lot of fear. There's a sense of almost kind of like the stars have aligned, or fate has brought the two of you together at this moment in time, because they feel like you're exactly what I need. You're exactly what I want, but you're also exactly what I need at this time in my life. And so this is somebody that wants to try really hard to kind of be that for you as well. Not just something that you want, but to fulfill needs, desires, and requirements that maybe you don't even know you have within yourself, but that this person is trying to kind of like observe, or maybe that have been kind of like noted by them, subtle things that you're not even aware of within yourself, but it's like they see that, they understand that, they're reading between the lines in some sort of way. This is somebody that almost wants to kind of like provide in ways you don't even need to ask them to, without kind of like asking and expecting someone to perform or to step up to the plate. This is almost like, let me anticipate your needs and just simply be there in that place of generosity when we arrive to that point. You also have imagination. So this person is imagining the best possible outcome in this situation, the best possible scenarios. This is somebody that is feeding a lot of positive energy and hope in what the future can hold between the two of you. Maybe this is something that, you practice mindfulness, law of attraction, manifestation. If you've mentioned anything like that to this person, or maybe these are terms and concepts they were familiar with before, this is something where it's almost like, in order to get to that happily ever after with one another, we got to align with the feeling of what that will be first. And from that place of feeling, we take steps accordingly in that direction. Not that it will always be good times, but even if we have our difficulties, we regroup, we reroute, we keep focusing on that horizon, we keep our eye on the prize. And in this case, the prize is a lifetime with you. It is growing old with you. It is long-term commitment. It is something stable. You are everything that they could have ever hoped and wished for. They couldn't have dreamed you up if they had just spent all their time like dreaming of the perfect situation. Because again, you bring so many qualities to the table that check off the boxes of like what they're attracted to, what they know is probably like better for them as compared to like things in the past that they had called in, or that they'd chosen, or that they'd kind of like run towards, that just sort of, brought out the worst in them, or led to toxicity. But then there's also these qualities about you that are so surprising, so unexpected, and yet feel so fulfilling to this person that it's almost like experiences with you are an invitation, or give this person permission to, again, kind of like step into more of the fullness of themselves, to turn up the heat as far as that romance is concerned, to be very kind of like self-honoring and self-expressive in a variety of ways, a whole spectrum of different experiences, actions, emotions, that it feels like so far in the ways in which they've kind of like poured that forth, or they've been inspired to kind of act, and they maybe tiptoed in that direction, the response from you has been very favorable, and it's helped to reinforce with this person like, yes, I need to keep tapping into that energy of optimism. I need to keep facing forward towards the future, knowing that we can achieve great things in terms of this romance with one another if we keep aligned within that energy, within that experience, within kind of the give and take with one another of, we are consistently moving towards that happily ever after, not as kind of like a delusional, unreachable thing, but something that can definitely materialize in a way that is unique to us, and in a way that is very like fulfilling and sustainable in a long-term sense. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.